So I'm going to have a go at growing my own mycelium. So I've grown some oyster mushrooms, and what I've done is I've just cut as I've harvested them, the bottom end of the mushroom, the opposite side to the cap, about 2 inch up. I've took that and cut it into bits, and I'm going to have a go at growing my own mycelium, because I've heard there'll be a lot of mycelium within these chopped up bits I've done. So I've got a little tray, pasteurised some straw, and now I'm going to put the mushrooms in. I'll space them about a bit better, and I'll show you what it looks like then. I'm going to cover them with straw, and don't forget this is the bottom end of the mushroom, oyster mushroom, which is apparently still full of mycelium. So now I'm going to cover that with straw. So I've put a layer of straw over them. I pushed it right down and tried to compact it a bit. I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'm going to put it in a dark place at room temperature. So it's been 9 days, and you can see how the mycelium is starting to colonise that straw I used. And don't forget, I only used bits of the bottom end of oyster mushrooms. I'm quite pleasantly surprised about that. I've put these elastic bands on there just to make sure it stays really airtight, because the container wasn't fantastic. But I wanted to go at doing it, growing my own mycelium. But that's not bad, is it? So like I say, it's the 12th of April today. I put them in on the 3rd, so that's 9 days. So we'll see how long it takes for them to colonise the whole lot. But like I say, I'm pretty chuffed with that. So up to yet, it's 9 days. So it's been 13 days. And that's not too bad, is it? Seems to have colonised that straw pretty good. 13 days just from bits of mushrooms. So I've got my bucket. I've drilled 1/2 inch holes in it. I put some micro pore tape over the holes. And then I'm going to put this into the bucket. And if I need to add a bit more straw, I will. If I don't, well, I'll have to find out when I put it into the bucket. So 13 days to get to this stage, just from bits of mushroom, the base of the oyster mushrooms. Fantastic. So I'm going to see how much I can get into this bucket, and if I need to add a little bit more straw, I will. But we'll take it from there. So it did take quite a bit more straw. I was quite surprised. So I already had some on hand, what I'd already pasteurised. So I put a layer of straw on the bottom, the straw with the mycelium in on top of that, and then crammed a load of straw on top of that, just so I could just, close that bucket. So that straw was already pasteurised. So now this is going into a dark place at room temperature, and we'll take it from there. So it took 2 weeks for the mycelium to colonise the straw. And then I brought it downstairs, put it in the living room on this stool. That one's not bad at all, is it? Took the microporous tape off, and then a week later, this is what they look like. So I've got me little mister, what I keep misting them with so they don't dry out. And we'll see how long now it takes to harvest them. 3 days later. And they're virtually doubling in size by the day. I've got a thermometer on the top of the bucket so I can keep an eye on the temperature in the room. And it's been a steady 20 degrees, and they seem to like that. They're not fruiting from every single hole. But like I say, I've got that little mister what I keep, giving them a little bit of a spray with so they don't dry out. But that one's pretty good. But this one, just here, this is the one I'll be having for my tea tonight. I'm pretty impressed. So when I talk about pasteurising straw, what I mean by that is I've got another bucket like this, a bit bigger, without any holes in. So I'll fill that with straw, and then I'll pour boiling water all over it out of the kettle. and then I'll put the lid on it, on the bucket, after I've poured boiling water all over it. And then I put that to one side for 24 hours. Because not only does it rehydrate the straw, it also kills off any pathogens that are in the straw that you don't want. But that's not bad at all, is it? You know, just from bits of oyster mushroom. So there you go. Growing oyster mushrooms from bits of oyster mushrooms. And thank you for watching.